and welcome. You're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV. Germany remains one of the leading investors in the Ukrainian economy with an indicator of 1.7 billion euros. And German business representatives have shown their readiness to strengthen cooperation with Ukraine and invest directly. To talk more about this, we're joined in the studio today by Alexander Markus. He's a chairman of the German-Ukrainian Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hello.
So, the Ukrainian-German Chamber of Industry and Commerce has been existing since the year 2016. Now, what's the idea behind the creation of the chamber, and what are the results that you would like to boast of so far?
Okay. Actually, our team is working here for already more than 25 years. Before 16, we had been working here as a delegation of German business. And in 16, or actually in 15, the business was so, how to say, proud of what they already achieved that they said, we need an upgrade of our business representation. And
here in Ukraine?
Here in Ukraine, yes, actually. In 15, there was an intergovernmental agreement, which was also supposed in Verkhovna Rada, about the setting up of our chamber. And actually, in October 16, our chamber was set up. We had 14 founding members, and today we already have 155 members.
And how many companies are involved in the, let's say, in the action that is taken by the Chamber of Industry and Commerce?
Initially, you mean?
No, right now, in the year 2019, how many companies are involved?
As I said, 155 members we have.
Okay, and all of those are companies, or could those be private investors?
No, we have from the legal person or from the legal structure we chose, we can only have legal persons as members. So we have most of them are, all of them are companies actually.
Okay, I have already mentioned in my introduction that right now Germany is one of the most effective and one of the largest economic donors to Ukrainian economy. Is it going to remain this way? Is the amount of financial help from Germany going to grow? And what will Ukraine have to give in return?
Already today, Ukraine is giving to German companies very much. It offers to, if we look at, for example, automotive supply industry for German cars, it offers a very cost-effective production location. We have today around about 35,000 Ukrainian workplaces in the German automotive supplying industry, but located in Ukraine. And that is a fact which makes German industry more competitive worldwide.
And what about Ukrainian automobile industry?
Ukrainian automobile industry would have the chance to come step by step into the value-added change. This is quite a challenge because the German and worldwide international automobile manufacturers, they have very high quality standards. So this will happen step by step. We see first initial, how to say, chances and opportunities where this happens. We had in October, we had an automotive business conference in Lviv, and there were already first Ukrainian companies that say, yeah, we are actually already in the value chain. We are delivering to German tier 1 or tier 3 automotive deliverers, suppliers.
Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko has mentioned not that long ago that Ukrainian automobile industry has been developing in a rather dynamic way. Would you agree?
If you look at the automotive supplying industry, absolutely. You know, the figure I already mentioned, 35 workplaces. If you look all the international companies, it's even 45,000 workplaces. So, and this is a big chance, because if you look at what is happening in Western and Central Ukraine, those companies, they are providing high-quality products from Ukraine into international value chains, and that is very positive. It changed the image of Ukraine abroad.
And yet, and still, automobile industry is not the only one that is under the stage of development in Ukraine. What are the areas that Ukraine could boost development in your opinion?
From my point of view, you have the food industry, food processing. We have seen first steps of presentations of Ukrainian food industry in Germany this year on different fairs in Germany, already very successful. We will go to Anuga in Cologne in October. There will also be a Ukrainian booth. Then we have light industries, all kinds of electronics, of textile, of clothes. For example, I'm wearing Ukrainian suits already for 15 years because I appreciate the quality.
That is so great. Thank you so much for mentioning it. That means a lot for Ukrainian producers. And yet and still, in one of your interviews, you have mentioned that you would rather cooperate with Ukrainian producers or Ukrainian companies on a regional level rather than on a government one. What did you mean? Like
cooperation is always
business.
on a regional level.
Like private business.
Yes, it's always private because we are private business. We are not, how to say, we are not focusing on state business. We are bringing private businesses together. That is our main task. We are looking for an Ukrainian, for example, producer of I don't know, metal items, and we try to help them, bring them to a fair. We are just having a delegation to the Hannover Messe industry in April, and there will be some 5 to 6 Ukrainian companies following us, going there, and we bring them into contact. Because the best thing is, I believe, if you bring entrepreneurs in direct contact from Ukraine and from Germany, and they speak directly to each other, then they understand what will be needed to intensify cooperation. That is the best thing what will happen. So we are concentrating on B2B events, bringing them together.
Some kind of a networking, right?
Yes, we are a networking platform.
Okay. In your opinion, what do you think would be the most effective way to improve self-governance of Ukrainian private business sector?
Oh, this is very difficult.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's a challenge. From the experience we had in Germany, we believe as private business, we are representing private business, the best thing is to facilitate that private business starts to represent themselves. So we are promoting a cluster initiative approach. We are trying, for example, in the automotive supplier area, we are trying to bring automotive suppliers together. You have to imagine they're all competitors, so they are not really very eager to cooperate. So the chamber will be a platform for bringing them together and for finding synergies where this could be, for example, in professional education.
Okay.
Because they need human resources, they need better qualified people. And we have a very good qualifying system in Germany, which is called the dual education, especially not for university education, but for the professional, middle, vocational training education. And that is something where we will start pilot projects in this year for improving education for workers in Ukraine. And bringing them together, they organize themselves, and that way they are improving the image of Ukraine, because they are telling their partners outside, hey, look, we have an automotive cluster in Ukraine. You've never heard about automotive in Ukraine? Yeah, look, we have 35,000 workplaces here. And that is, from my approach, the best thing the state could do, support those initiatives. You know, we are, as a chamber, it's a very good example. We are private, but we are supported by the German state. They give us subsidies so that the chamber could develop quicker than it could be without.
Of course. Speaking of subsidies, how would you evaluate the situation Ukraine is in right now, looking from the investment perspective? How attractive is Ukraine for foreign investors, and will this attraction grow with the years to come, let's say within about the time period of 3 or 5 years?
From our point of view, Ukraine is, if you look just at the facts, very attractive. Ukraine has a major problem with the image. And, you know, there is a conflict in this country. You have reporting about that in mass media abroad.
That's true.
That is another point while we start to bring companies together. Companies from Ukraine, companies from Germany. Once they speak together and they are discussing prices, they are discussing quality, then the German companies, they start to have an own image, to have an own picture of Ukraine. And that is not so much linked to mass media or anything else. Then we invite them here. And once they see that, for example, their competitors are already here, they're very quickly considering investment. That is the way where we are very successful. For example, in the electronic supply area, it's just the same. And the supply area is the first step. In 5 years, the so-called OEMs will come, the original equipment manufacturers, the brands. But first, in a country like Ukraine, where the market is not so big and the purchasing power is not so high, you have to start with those suppliers. You have to start with the advantages of Ukraine. And the advantages is that you have a very cost-effective production process here and quite high educated personnel, the human resources. People are very high educated and motivated, you know.
As ambitious as that sound, what kind of other plans does the Chamber have for the future, let's say for 2019, 2020 in Ukraine?
You know, we have some projects in pipeline, but I can't speak about them publicly because it is confidential.
Okay.
But I can tell you there are plans. We are just
name the sector. That would be energy sector, right? If we're talking about pipelines.
It will be also in the automotive supply area. And it will be in the, what I also already said, in the electronic supply area for kitchen equipment, for example. You know, they have a lot of parts in there. And there, in the future, if everything will be successful, some of these parts, more of these parts, will come from Ukraine.
Okay, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
And for this conversation. That was Alexander Markus. He's the chairman of the German-Ukrainian Chamber of Industry and Commerce. Thank you so much for watching UATV. Stay tuned for more.